Season 7, Episode 23, Secrets and Pies.
This episode made me hungry.
Yeah, but I don't like pie, so...
Yeah, well, I don't really like cake that much.
Yeah.
You two are
I mean, it's not the cake, it's more of the frosting.
I made a
I'm
cake
speeding up.
yesterday.
I don't need more sugar.
I made a cake yesterday. It was chocolate
Yum.
with chocolate frosting. And there's still quite
Did
a
you
bit
just
of
say
it
you
left
were
in the
made of cake yesterday?
No, I made a cake.
Ah.
My OC is not some sort of cousin of the cakes. He's pie. They don't get along very well. You guys are weird, not liking cake or pie. You know,
I like some pie.
Well, I mean, liking one, not liking either one of those. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, but you're from the South, you know, where everybody likes sugar in everything. Your tea is like literally pure sugar with a little
I
bit
don't
of
drink
tea.
that garbage.
So you Southerners, you all are like.
Well, I drink iced tea, but I drink it non-sweetened because, yeah, they put way too much sugar in it, and
I don't put any
undrinkable.
sugar in my tea. My
I
tea
prefer
is
my tea unsweetened.
Yeah, me too. It's not. I'd like it no sugar, straight black.
Yeah, I only ever really put anything in it if my throat's not feeling well, and I might put some lemon and honey in there to kind of soothe it. But
Well, I do love lemon in my tea, but really the only time I ever put any sweetening substance in my tea is if I get mocha in my chai, because I
Yum.
really love Starbucks London Fog,
well, anyway,
which is a chai.
getting away from that. Oh, and you know, question: cheesecake. Is it a pie or is it a cake?
It's a pie.
I would say it's a cake because it doesn't have a top crust.
No, because it's a pie. This is like Pinky. Is she a pie or is she an apple?
Possibly both. I just like
Your answer.
I just like cheesecake, so I thought that would be a funny
Me
thing to throw out there.
too.
Anyway,
You like
let's move on from the dessert themed revelry and actually to the episode proper. For a while, I thought this might be a serving size episode, and you know, eat in moderation sort of more, but those are a little tricky to do.
Well, I mean, it
Just
kind of
correct.
was if you consider Tank.
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing that I was glad that they covered.
Yeah, and the kids with their hamster. Don't feed real people food, pony food, to your
Yeah.
pet.
I actually love that line. I forgot what, but when Shirley's like, animals can't eat pony food because they're animals. I'm like, but you're an animal too.
That humans are animals, so and we're just, you know, we're just slightly different animals that are very good at changing our environment.
Besides, we can't eat some things that other animals can, and
Yep.
other animals can't eat some things that other animals can. Like, you don't want to feed a rabbit steak, but that's okay to feed a dog.
Oh shit! I'm not supposed to feed a rabbit steak. I'll bear it back.
Yeah.
I'm fattening up my rabbit to eat for dinner.
Then why didn't you just eat the steak and give it vegetables? It's delicious. Steak is delicious. Vegetables are okay. You should eat your vegetables, kids. But if you're gonna give them one or the other, give them the vegetables and eat the steak. Anyway,
Veggies. And I just want to
oh,
kill
I like
bunnies.
veggies too, but steak is more delicious.
But dead bunnies are cooler.
Well, you eat the bunny after you've fed it the vegetables and gotten it nice and plump. Anyway, so Pinky is baking a pie for Dash for her 73rd training session with the Bolts. You know, and here's a word choice I think Twilight gets wrong for once. Twilight calls it that's very specific 73rd training session. I think the word she's looking for is arbitrary. Though as humans we tend to value 5s and 10s as important milestones due to our finger setup. Perhaps they value primes. Would be interesting if they valued 4s and multiples of that instead, since they have no fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out Pinky has a giant chocolate bar as a refuel stop.
Who doesn't?
I suppose that internet energy has to come from somewhere.
Yep.
Who doesn't refuel with giant chocolate bars? I mean, come on.
If I could do that. Without turning into a blimp. Yeah, maybe. She wanted to wait until 100, but she got impatient. This is probably why we have such odd choices for celebrations from her. Like, she picks really odd numbers and, you know, weird things. She just gets impatient to have a celebration. She's like, whatever.
You mean like, it's not your birthday, but here's a cake anyway?
Yeah. It's like, just, I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, just don't tell Pinkie Pie that on birthdays exist.
Oh my gosh. No.
Well, she did have that. It's not your birthday pie.
Yeah, well, on birthday, she practically give you a cake every single day.
I think she and the Mad Hatter would have great tea parties together.
Oh, yeah.
That would be an interesting kind of world meld. Replace Allison.
Have a party.
Embrace. Take Alice in Wonderland, but replace all the characters with their My Little Pony equivalents. That might be interesting.
Well, there's a fanfic waiting to happen.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure
Pinkie Pie is so crazy, she made the Mad Hatter sane.
I'm sure it's happened several times.
Oh, definitely.
It's just a matter of going and finding it. But anyway, Rainbow throws out the rest of the pie after being served one slice. We see it rolled out by the janitor, but it doesn't make it all the way to the bins. Perhaps he ate it. It seems likely that if he was in the bin when he was pushing it, but by the time he got to the bins in the back, it was no longer there.
Really, the way I viewed it is he tossed it before she can look at it.
It's possible she could be colluding him, but it's a pie.
You know,
it's a perfectly good pie.
Yeah, but who's going to eat pie out of the dumpster? Seriously.
It was perched on top. There was nothing wrong with it. He probably saw her put it in it, so it hasn't really touched any trash. So just the pie itself is fine. It was just sitting on top of a pile of trash.
Yeah, no.
I mean, and he's a custodian pony anyway, so he's really not that afraid of a little dirt. And I don't think I think he knows perfectly well. You know, okay, it never actually touched the trash. The pan did, but the pie itself, no. So I'm just gonna eat it. Especially if he saw it go in, which he probably did, considering how quickly he rolled it back out.
Although I do have one comment. Damn, that is really fast trash service.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Normal people leave their trash out, the night before and have to wait, and they only get trash once a week. So either she just fittingly enough had her 43rd or 73rd training day on trash day, or they have some serious cleanliness thing going on there.
Yeah, I'm thinking the trash phono is just already bringing out the trash, and Dash is like, "Oh, here, take this."
Yeah, he's probably he's probably a janitor that works there. I think because you probably have in a place that big with that many ponies, they probably have a janitor / custodian, however they want to be termed. And so, I mean, the trash got full, so he pushed it out to the bins, and then the people who pick the trash up from there the ponies who are gonna pick it up from there will pick it up later. But this quite disturbs the Pinky because she thought she saw the pie in the trash. Anyway, what would have been even better would have been if you'd seen just a little bit of rainbow on his mustache or something. Anyway, so we go from there, and there's a nice little homage to Batman to like 60s Batman with, you know, the pie cave entrance. Apparently Rainbow Dash isn't a fan of washing. Which, okay. So, Ponka is distressed at the thought that Dash might not like her pies.
Did you just say Ponka?
Yeah, that's what some people call Pinky. It's like
Ponka. I've never heard of that.
I've used it before. You didn't seem weirded out.
I've never heard you use it before. It might have been one of the times I wasn't paying attention.
We probably weren't paying attention at the time at what I was saying. We're just kind of glazed over it. But some people call her that. It's for short and just for kind of a cutesy thing.
That sounds more derogatory.
No, not from what I can tell.
No, I mean just the sound of it. It's like a plonk or one of those other.
No, it's cutesy.
Eh.
We're getting all tied up in knots over that. That seems a little silly. Anyway, so it turns out Pinky will fall for the look over there gag just about every time.
What?
Dash uses it to get rid of the pies Pinky gives her. She grills the Bolts about the monthly pie she sends her, and they report they've received a mysterious monthly pie donation. I'm sure Soren is pleased. They somehow take her seriously as some sort of investigator. Must be the recycled hat. Tank's illness
She must have got it from Rarity.
Also correlates to a pie delivery. Dun dun dun. Again, this comes with that don't feed pets, you know, pony food / human food. We get the line, it seems the pieces of the puzzle are plopping into place, but the picture isn't pretty. Andrea Libman's poor pop filter.
Yeah.
Dr. Fauna points Pinky towards Cheerly, who has to remind the foals not to give the hamsters pony food. Good side lesson for kids. So, she's been getting a pie from Dash the day after Dash's half birthday every year, which, considering she's only been in Ponyville a couple of years, is a little short, but okay, to set up a pattern. Considering she had her birth anniversary, not too long ago in terms of seasons. I mean, we're probably coming up on maybe her, second birth anniversary. Didn't she have it was her birth anniversary.
Yeah, but I mean, it. They didn't say it was her first anniversary there.
I think they did. I'd have to look it
I
up.
don't remember. That was like a century ago.
Yeah, it may be getting close to or around her second birth anniversary by now, but that's hardly a, if it happens every half birthday, then it's only been a couple half birthdays. So I guess maybe 2 is enough to establish a pattern for Cheerilee. Anyway, Pinkie comes to the conclusion that Dash doesn't like pies and screams. AJ accidentally trips the trap door to the pie cave.
What? Oh yeah, the secret party planning cave.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this.
I do love that they came back to that though.
Well, once you've done all the background work for it, it makes sense that the pie cave would be used again and again. It's a good prop, and it's very much that's Pinkie to a T. It's a
Pinkie to a P, technically.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that bothered me that my own cleanliness sort of thing getting at me is, like, on a shelf in the pie cave, there's just dirty dishes just sitting there.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're not in the sink.
I'm like, dude. And I was just like, dude, that is so unsanitary if you're a baker. Like, she's there, she makes cakes and stuff. I wouldn't want to eat her cakes either after seeing that.
I wouldn't want to eat her cakes either after knowing it has like 78 different ingredients.
I think they would have been fine. I just think it's and the thing is that they're away from where she actually bakes anything. She actually makes any food. I still would have liked to have seen that, not seeing them just sitting there dirty. It would have been annoying. But so Pinkie is freaking out and has a whole cutaway imagination moment with an evil dark blue Dash with eye lasers destroying all the pies.
I love Pinkie Pie's imagination. So, Pinkie Pie, how do you imagine the rest of your friends?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of...
You cut out.
No,
Hello?
I was just reading something while y'all were talking about. It seemed like it would go on for a while. Oh, something interesting little factoid. The reason they call her Ponka sometimes, she's called Ponka Po in some Pinkie Pie is called Ponka Po in some merchandise.
Oh.
I don't know why that is. Maybe it's in a foreign place where Pinkie Pie would be a problem, but okay.
Pinkie Pie is always a problem.
Sometimes she's the answer. Sometimes she's the problem. Sometimes she's the solution. But yeah, I mean, they pretty much.
Solution?
What?
7% solution?
No, 10. Needs to be a little stronger than that.
Yeah, with her, yeah.
So we've seen evil versions of loads of characters. It would be interesting to gather a lot of these sort of evil dream versions of these characters, like Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon, and a equine version of Midnight Sparkle, and Pie Destroying Dash. All of the evil versions of everyone. Be interesting to have a moment where you have all of them together. What?
Rainbow Smash.
Yes. Okay, let's see. So, Pinkie is convinced that Dash has been scheming behind her back. AJ thinks she's probably overdoing it and distracts her with some fresh apples. Pinkie intends to bake so many pies that she will be exposed for the pie waster she is, for the pie hater she is.
Yeah, and Mr. and Mrs. K come up to her and like, Miss Pie.
These are things we have to always sort of go.
Your pie budget has like gone through the roof. Mind explaining?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I worry about too. It's like, doesn't she work for the pies? Like, they don't really give free reign to just make pies whenever she feels like, right? They should have some sort of budget or something going on there.
Yeah, I think, but I mean, it's one of those things where you just, it's sort of hand waved. It's just, it's just, don't worry. Don't, if you think about it too hard, it's just like, where does she get the money for the pie budget, for the party budget? Where does that come from?
I would presume the people who are actually...
some of the parties where she's not, where it's sort of spur of the moment and it's not, it's not somebody's birthday or something where she's planning it for somebody else. Out of pocket.
She makes enough money from her party planning business that she can pay out of pocket for her impromptu party plans.
Maybe she makes enough off the party planning side business for the cakes, because her party planning kind of setup buys cakes from the pies. She also works for the pies, so she makes money off of that, and so the pies also give her, kind of a cost discount if she's doing something on her own, and that's where all the pie stuff comes from, is because she can, if she puts in the labor, they'll give her the wholesale cost on the ingredients, so she can make pies. If she wants to do something on her own, they'll let her basically buy the ingredients and use the equipment at wholesale cost rather than having to pay full markup.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the cover-up has gotten way out of fluff as Dash has a pie chute installed in her bedroom that leads directly to Tank's bowl.
And you wonder why he gets so sick.
Which also seems to me to mean that at some point, Pinky has also surprised her in her bedroom with a pie at some point.
Like, Pinkie Pie, I'm naked. Next time, knock. Or maybe don't.
But considering walls don't really work in Cloudsdale style architecture, the Pegasus architecture is not really, walls are more visual blockers than actual, partitions where you can't get through. So, I mean, if she just, knocks on the door and she doesn't answer, she just sort of walks through it.
Oh, and apparently Tank is part snake.
Why?
Oh, being able to unhinge his jaw and eat the entire pie in one gulp.
Yep.
Oh, and here I thought you meant just the whole swallowing it whole and having it in his digestive tract that way. From the x-ray.
Well, that too.
Anyway, so Pinky confronts Dash at practice, but never learned Rule 1 of the Wonderbolt's headquarters. Don't stand on the runway. She gets clobbered by Spitfire as she refuses to look away. And of course she's
and this, children, boys and girls, is why you always look both ways
before crossing a street or a busy runway. Though while you're out at an airport. In the middle of one.
And holy crap, world's fastest emergency ponies.
Well, I mean, they're probably
there specifically for the Wonderbolts, because just like race car, NASCAR and American football and most sports things have their own like medics on standby for medical emergencies like that, like crashes. And especially since this is the Wonderbolts do some pretty dangerous stunts. Having a medic on hand for immediate emergencies isn't such a shock. And having them with that level of experience of, yeah, we got to keep you stable and keep you from moving in case you get it, in case you have like spinal damage or something. Yeah, that makes sense considering where they are.
Yeah.
But did they do a Colvard starburst?
A what?
A really, really obscure Star Trek reference. Don't worry about it. It's the maneuver that Nova Squadron, the Wesley was part of it, did when they were claiming they were doing a Jaeger loop in order to they were sort of that, and they got in trouble because somebody died. Most of them managed to escape, but one of the cadets didn't make it.
No,
Yes,
that was
a red
that
shirt.
was the movie they were trying to do, and yeah, that was illegal. That was banned. You can't do a covert starburst, and so then the whole Nova Squadron got in trouble for that because somebody died doing it. You know,
Red shirt died.
But Jaeger loop was fine, but yeah, covert starburst no. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, and an interesting bit about how the Pinky's carted off. She's carted off towards the end of the runway where there's nothing there. She just seems to be headed off towards the end of the runway where it just sort of the sort of Sky Island sort of ends or plateau or whatever it is.
If she were leaving, I mean, she probably broke the laws of physics to get up there. Why not break them back?
Anyway, so we'll get back to Ponyville, and Pinky is saved by Dash from her pie pyramid scheme.
The only way to save me is to eat all these pies. Or you could do that.
Sometimes you have to pull a Batman and just pick a third option. No, I'm just going to save you by flying up.
You've been watching Batman lately.
What?
No, this is like your second Batman thing. Batman reference.
The ponies brought up the first Batman thing. They made the first Batman reference. So, can't blame me for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, in order to thank her, she tries to corner her out in the open with pies. To which Dash calls over her to fools, and they gobble them down in a cloud of dust for her. At this point, we've almost reached party of one levels of crazed Pinky. I mean, not there, not quite there.
That point.
You know, I said we're almost there. It's not quite there, but it's getting real close.
Yeah.
Because this cuts into one of her big insecurities of not being sort of accepted, this time in pie form, and also not betrayal in the form of not being quite honest with her about things. Which brings up this question. What if Dash had just taken a bite and pushed through? Would have led to a confused end to her freak out, but also a non-satisfactory conclusion. She just, you know, kind of...
Maybe Dash is anorexic.
I think she said she just didn't like pies.
Well, that's what she said.
Well, and this is where I was getting into moderation and where, you want to talk about moderation, especially with, and it would make sense for a story where Rainbow Dash is like, yeah, I like pie, but I can't eat that much of it because I'm an athlete. I need I need to watch what I'm eating. You know, lean protein, vegetables. You know, I guess it'd be different for a horse, but the same sort of. I imagine they like soy or something like that would be what they would use for protein. But you know, and you know, I'm an athlete, so I can't eat too much pie because I need to stay light. Which that gets into some dangerous territory with you got to make sure that you make it clear moderation and that little kids shouldn't be worried that worried that much about their weight to an extent. There's a limit, but it's real careful because you don't want to cause a kid to be anorexic because he's like, oh, Rainbow Dash, said she never eats pie because she's an athlete and I want to be like Rainbow Dash. It's like, well, no, have a little pie every once in a while. It's fine, but that's why you gotta be super careful with that sort of thing. And that's
because that was my initial thought of the way she was acting, because I've known anorexic people and I've that is very much what they do. They do so many of those things where they use excuses and they use sleight of hand in order to make it look like they've eaten it when they didn't.
But
I mean, that episode was a straight up red flag.
But she looks healthy, so I mean, she probably probably not. But
well, yeah, I mean, but
if you see something like some sort of behavior like that in a person, that is a red flag for that sort of thing, that sort of disorder. It's not it's not a diagnostic thing, but it's a warning sign.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wasn't saying immediately she is. It's just my first.
I get what you're saying. If you saw that in a person, you might go, maybe we should, keep an eye on her, sort of make sure they're actually eating it.
Not try to force them, because that just makes it worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, in quite literally the blink of an eye, the actual proper use of literally there, Dash disposes of the pie into the air with a balloon, avoiding the stare of Pinky's glare.
Like, blink.
So, are you okay, Pinkie Pie? I mean, do you need to blink at some point?
No.
I don't blink. Blinking is for the weak.
So Pinky finally confronts her directly. Dash denies, but the pie from earlier falls onto Pinky's head. He blows up at Dash for it and storms off. And we get this little exchange with Dash, Applejack, and Twilight. Dash, she won't listen to me. She won't let me apologize. I feel terrible. And then Twilight's, well, you have been lying to her. To all of us, actually. And Applejack, yeah, is there anything else you're lying about that we should know? Dash, no. Well, not that I can think of at the top of my head. It's my fault that I don't like pies. Not just Pinkie pies, all pies. I know how much she loves making pies, and if I told her I don't like them, it would have crushed her. You kind of crushed her anyway. Dash,
yeah, don't sit on her anymore.
But you're right, I guess I should have just eaten the pies in the first place. Wait, that's it, I know I can make it up to her. And then Dash thought the little lies and the hassle of ditching the pies was worth the hassle to spare Pinky's feelings, to which we get this little exchange at the end. Pinky says, you did a lot of ridiculous and overly complex things to get rid of my pies. Because it made you happy to see me happy. Just like I went to a lot of effort to make you the pies because it made me happy to see you happy. Dash like, yes. And if you're willing to go through all that, it really shows how much you're willing to do for your friends. Dash says, aw shucks, it was nothing. Now get out of that thing and give me a hug. Just remember, in the future, you can always be honest with me. And Applejack, Ever the font of wisdom. I could have told her that.
You mean just the ever font of honesty, because that's her element. But then you're biased about Applejack anyways, so.
Are we not going to talk about Dash's delicious pie that she made?
Oh, that was hideous.
It reminded me of, those stereotypic little kids making their mud pies and then saying, I made you a mud pie, Mommy, eat it. Or I made you a mud pie, Daddy, eat it. It's like,
Nope.
Are those worms? Yeah, it's a mud pie. You can't have mud without worms.
I'm glad that Dash didn't have to eat it.
Although it does show exactly her impression of the pies. She views all pies that way. Although also this episode had a major element of green eggs jam going.
I would not eat them, Pinky I am.
Yep. Eat them! Here they are!
Eat them near and far.
So I have to admit, I don't know why, but like my favorite line in this whole entire episode was, okay, how about this? Your hugs are too tight. And Pinkie Pie's like, ha ha ha. No, they're not.
That sounds so freaking abusive. It's like, shut up. I'm hugging you.
I don't know why. I played that a couple times and like, wow, Pinkie.
They are not too tight. No.
Let's see. My notes on this for if you're a master baker, measurements do not matter.
Well, at some point you become so powerful that you understand exactly what needs to go in. And the thing about pies is they're pretty flexible. I mean, once you've got a good crust...
Oh, pans are pretty stiff.
But pies are pretty flexible in terms of what you can put in the middle of them. And pies contain meat. There's meat pies. There's fruit pies. There's chocolate pies. I mean, you can probably make just about any kind of... If you can think of a ingredient that's food, you could probably make a pie out of it.
Worms.
Let's see. I hope Pinkie Pie's chocolate was dark chocolate, because dark chocolate's awesome.
Dark chocolate is awesome.
The cake I made yesterday, I think the cake itself is dark chocolate. The frosting is like regular chocolate, I think.
I mean, I guess milk chocolate's okay. Not really my favorite, but eh. What else? Oh yeah, I only think partly the reason why Tank is getting sick from the pies is only partly due to the pie, and the other half is probably, well, he did also eat the metal pan.
This is true.
Yes, the pan. Yes, that's always been a thing. Also, where does Pinkie think the pan went when Rainbow Dash gets rid of the pies? Where did she think the pan went? Did she eat the pan? Does she need more iron in her diet?
Yeah,
I was thinking that too. I'm like, Artie, you eating the pie, the pan as well as the pie?
Or maybe they're like Pinkie's Pie's special edible pans, like made out of sugar or something.
That really wouldn't surprise me if she came up with something like that.
That would be possible. They do have stuff like that sometimes.
I've never seen an edible pan per se, but I wouldn't put it past Pinkie to figure something like that out, given her baking passion.
I mean, they have edible stuff like that. And Pinkie Pie, instead of maybe the pan is actually part of the pie.
That could be it.
It could be decoration, like a silvery crust.
Doesn't it? Oh, but the problem with that is also that the I guess it's not really too much of a problem, but during when the pie falls on her, the pan falls down and it makes a metally clinky sound. So, I think.
Hey, if the doctor can have edible ball bearings.
Yeah, I guess the writers did not really think this through.
Or Pinkie Pie, Pinkie Pie is so susceptible that, hey, look behind you, works almost every time. So maybe the pan thing is a little over her head. Literally. Scene.
Well, that's the thing with Pinkie is it's hard to tell because sometimes she does show some very high intelligence and you know she has her moments where she's extremely intelligent. Just she's a bit silly, so it's hard to tell sometimes.
No, you see, the thing with her is she's kind of like Pete Latimer from Warehouse 13. Got great intuition and has a great tactical sense as far as certain things. But when it comes to everything else, huge puppy. Just completely oblivious to anything outside his purview.
But it was a fun little episode. It wasn't too heavy.
Filler.
It was light. It gave lots of opportunity for Pinkie to ham it up.
It was a cute filler with tasty filling.
Yes. And
I made a pie for everyone in Equestria, but you're the only one who hasn't got one. So I have to say, either she has like a ton of ovens or like the world's fastest oven.
She used an Easy Bake. No, she used her pie cannon from the movie.
Yeah. Oh, she finally got it working? That's good.
Yeah. That would be kind of a fun little thing. They incorporate that into the episode, into an episode. Her pie cannon.
Might be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be interesting if they incorporated other things from the movie. I'm curious whether they're going to make the movie kind of
Canon.
going a little bit off talk, but is it going to be inline canon or is it going to be sort of that soft canon that if we need to violate that canon, it's not that big a deal. It's not really part of true canon. But anyway, any last thoughts on secrets and pies? It's always secrets and pies with those ponies.
Speak now or hold your peace.
No, but anytime I hug somebody too tightly and they say something, I'm going to be like, no, I'm not.
What?
I said anytime I hug somebody too tight, they're like, too tight, like, no, I'm not.
Oh.